What's up guys, I'm Jacob, this is Benny. On this episode, Matt from Explores Camera Cars getting the bag builds treatment with electronically controlled air suspension.
Then we take both these GUs for an epic off-road adventure and explore the Gold Coast hinterland.
Welcome to Bag Builds.
Mate, the camera crew are gonna go absolutely bananas with this system.
Bloody oath.
After hitting the tracks in our GU patrol with the Explore Life crew, Matty absolutely loved how our rig performed over the tracks and all the obstacles we tackled. He also liked the height adjustability as well, which was pretty cool.
So after the boys brought the GU along on the episode, I was absolutely hooked. There was one specific hill climb that basically I struggled a little bit. Lane struggled, to be fair, he was towing a trailer. And I just watched their GU absolutely glide up this hill. Now, even though I don't get to drive the GU too much, the full air ride system was something that I just had to have.
So now we've got their very own GU Patrol in our workshop for the bag builds treatment, getting full front and rear air suspension and a 3-height auto leveling. We like to do a bit of basic ride quality testing, so what we do is load up the vehicle, take it for a spin with the existing suspension and then the full air suspension.
We've been supplying these kits for over 20 years now, so the Explore Life crew are definitely going to see a significant improvement in ride quality and adjustment of the vehicle.
We're just about to load this old girl up with a bit of weight. We've got a heap of plastic wallets here. We're going to do a bit of ride quality testing with the conventional coil springs.
Yeah.
So get the GoPro underneath.
Yep. And it'll basically show you how a conventional coil spring acts when loaded compared to a full airbag. So
that's it. So Benny's going to get all this weight in the back and we're good to go.
stitch up.
Well, that is sagged, mate. Look at it. Definitely feel a bit of wallowiness, if that's a word. So we're gonna keep going. Yeah, even the rear end,
Feel the front ends up.
the front end feels a bit up as well. So if we're on a nighttime situation, we had our lights on, we'd probably be pretty much blinding people on the other side of the road.
This will be affecting braking and steering as well.
Yeah, affecting braking and steering. So even going around the actual corners on the road, the main roads and stuff, it's a bit of body roll happening here. It'll be good to see Matt's reaction as well. Jesus. See, that is what you need to do. You need to make sure everything is secure. Boy, that's so dangerous.
Jacob packed them ones.
As if you repacked it, because you reckon I did a job. Here we go, train tracks. So what we're doing here, there's a nice little rutted dirt track over here, so we'll just go over that, see how she articulates. Careful with that side bit. Here we go, fellas. Like, I'm not going fast at all, eh? I'm just going over those bumps. If you're heavily laden, you're going over those bumps on an off-road track, it's definitely going to feel unsafe. You've got spring sag, poor handling, no wheel travel whatsoever, bottoming out. Chuck a set of airbags in there and you're going to eliminate a lot of that.
The biggest benefit would have to probably just be the versatility, whether we want to tow something and I can simply back up to it, drop the bum down and lift up. But you know, the most practical feature is probably going to be for the camera guys, being able to dump the car down on its guts when it pull up at camp, easily get all their swags off the roof, get all their camera gear organised. I think it will save them plenty of mucking around.
didn't even make me have to like take it back off again.
Oh, spare wheel's not under there.
Yeah, it's good.
Don't have to get the spare wheel off. So we've got the lower shock mounts off. Now I'm just removing the ABS brake lines off its mount, so then we can extend it a bit further to get the coils out. And then we'll get into flipping the upper control arm bolts so that we don't get rubbing there, and then remove the coils and trim the upper spring seats. So what we're doing now is flipping the upper control arm bolts so that the pointy end of the bolt and the nut is on the inside of the diff mount. So we'll tap that one through, put the nut back on, torque these back up, and then we can move on to cutting the upper spring seat tabs, which shouldn't be too long, and then we can move on to installing the Fox shocks and then the airbag assembly.
While Benny does all the finishing touches of the preparation work, I'm going to crack on with the airbag assemblies and mount them all together. We're using our heavy duty Firestone rolling sleeve airbags. The only part I've got to pre-assemble here is the upper bracket to the airbag. So hopefully I can remember what to do from the last install we did. But I'm gonna have a good look at the instructions and just make sure it's all right. And we'll go from there, give them over to Benny. All the prep work's done, ready to go. So before we whack the airbags into place, we're gonna put a set of Fox shocks in there, front and rear. Gonna do the rear first. Now these are a great stock standard off the shelf product for your shock absorbers to run with our full air suspension kits. We have them in our MP300 Navara and our LC200, but in the Defender and the GE Patrol we're running the next step up, which is the remote res. But these are great, straight off the shelf from standard height up to 2.5 inch. So let's get these in ready to go. As you can see here, we've snapped off the bolts that hold the factory bump stop, and the reason for that is they're pretty rusty and corroded, so stuff like that happens. So what we've done is we've used an easy out tool to maintain the existing threads in the chassis, and we can bolt the bump stop into place with the little spacer here. Now what this spacer does is just packs that out so that the bump stop bottoms out before the airbag and protects the airbag. So Benny's done one side, we're going to get the other side in, ready to go. Let's do it. The airbags we are using are spec'd to work beautifully with this 2-inch lift. We also cater for factory coil sprung vehicles along with lifts greater than 2 inches.
There's nothing too big or too small when it comes to airbag, man. I mean, look at the Mega 6x6. That thing was a weapon.
So Benny's just bolted the rear airbags into place. There was a couple of bolts up the top bracket there to lock it in place, and then one on the bottom there just to keep it nice and secure. So rear's done, now we're onto the front. Benny's doing a few preparations there. I'm gonna open the box, get the Firestone bags out, and do a little bit of assembly work of the airbags, and yeah, we'll get stuck into it.
Alrighty, so as you can see, we've done the same as the rear where we're trimming the spring seat flanges. I'll give this one a quick spray paint, a quick touch up, and then we'll move on to the passenger's side and get that finished. Whilst Benny does the finishing touches of the airbag install, I'm going to give you a quick run through on the auto leveling system we're going to be installing on Matt's rig behind us here. So to kick things off, you've got everything you need, including the brackets, the wiring looms, all the fittings, tubing, everything is there ready to go. Major components, we've got this nice little unit here which houses the German built AMK compressor, the ECU and the valve block. We've got our SAE J10 approved 1 gallon aluminium air tank. That's nice and lightweight, and that is an awesome approval to have. Well, you need to have that for your air reservoir tanks in the automotive and industrial industries. Next up, our height sensors.
This is going to allow us to sense the movement there and allow us to set 3 preset heights on the handheld controller. So the handheld controller here has the low mode, drive mode, and the high mode, plus a heap of manual adjustment as well. So that's your handheld. Next up is our little up and down switch. That just gives you an easy means of running through your 3 preset heights as well. So that is pretty much it. Let's see how Benny's going, and then we can get stuck in to the onboard air control.
Nice. Yeah, the shocks look sick. Good colour.
The lads are going to benefit big time, especially with the lowered height.
Yeah, on our last trip, they had to climb up to grab their swags, but with the lowered height, it's going to make it so much easier.
Drop it right down with a push of a button.
Push of a button.
How good are our aluminium air tanks?
They are so good. With the 2 sizes we have, they can fit down pretty much any chassis rail with the universal mounting brackets.
Very easy to fit, eh?
Super easy. Now the tank's all installed, we're moving on to the ASU module. So this one will be positioned off the side of the drawers. Now to fit it in, I will have to relocate the valve block. Then we'll route all the air line and wiring loom down through the side compartment here through a grommet under the vehicle.
So Benny's just mounted all the major onboard air components, and once he's done all that, done the finishing touches, we're onto the wiring and then the height sensors. Let's get into it.
Bang, bada bing, bada bing, bang, bung. Okay, so we've wired in the handbrake ground and ignition up into the cabin. So what we're doing now is we're going to drill a couple of holes and add in grommets. This will allow us to get all the electrical and air lines for each airbag and air tank up into the cabin, up to the valve block. Let's get stuck in.
We are just running through the final stages of Matty's bag build. The last thing we got to do is calibrate the system and set the 3 preset heights with this awesome handheld controller. We've got to set the raised height, the drive height, and the lowered height. Once that's all done, we're then off for a wheel alignment and get this thing engineered, blue plated, ready to go. Exciting times.
We're out here with the team at Auto Giant, getting Matty's Patrol signed off, blue plated and engineered. So we'll show you a bit of the process so you can see what's involved.
Here in Australia, if you're installing full air suspension front and rear to your vehicle, you need to have a specific electronically controlled auto leveling system to get it all signed off and approved.
Now this is an easy process, and we use this system throughout the world in a lot of OE and aftermarket applications.
Absolutely pumped to finally have the full air ride system in the truck. The versatility that this thing's going to give us is awesome. And then basically anything that I can bag from this point on, it'll be coming straight here.
Alrighty, so it is now time to do a bit of ride quality testing with the air suspension now installed. So as you can see, there is a little bit of sag here, but when we turn the vehicle on, auto leveling is going to come into play and just bring the vehicle back to its original position. We should have awesome ride quality, so let's get into it.
So as you all saw, we did find the weight in the back with the coil springs definitely had an effect on ride quality, handling, everything like that. Made it a lot like a boat. But with the full air suspension now and the upgraded shock absorbers, it is a completely different vehicle.
We're going to go around a few corners. We're going to go over a bit of a sort of corrugated off-road track here, just on the side of the road.
Basically the same route we took with the coil spring.
Yeah, same route. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Bit of an off-road section.
Nice.
Happy days.
Yeah.
So this is just a basic ride quality test we do. instantly we see great improvement with the ride quality. I'm sure Matt and the camera guys, they're going to have awesome ride quality, and they're going to have those great benefits you get with the lowered and raised heights for different scenarios they face when they're out in the bush or on the beach.
All right, well, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure to deal with the two boys, Jacob and Benny. We always have a little bit of laugh along the way, and at the end of the day, my truck always drives out of here far better than what it came in. Can't wait to get out there and get stuck into it. Flash. Goes faster. Red.
That's a wrap, guys. We hoped you enjoyed watching this episode as much as we did. Stay tuned for part 2, where we take these two bag builds on an epic adventure.
Now don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you next time on
Bag Builds.